I am with the West Coast. I used to be with Highway. My biodata is easily accessible kat LinkedIn. So I've been in the public relations world for over 30 years. So people say I'm very ancient, right? Macam guide. Okay. So I'm very happy that Daniel has invited me to share my personal experiences and know-how from my perspective in terms of the crisis management plan, crisis communications plan, and the framework of a apa you call it, the crisis management team, right? So back to you, Daniel.
Aryani, can you show our slide?
Okay.
Okay. So Tuan Syed, we chose to two potential crises at it originally from Plus Highway, but we need to rename it into our own brand, so we rename it to EXO Highway. So two
Okay.
crises we chose is accident and traffic congestion, and the other one is flood water. Aryani, next.
Okay.
So this is a rough plan of our crisis communication plan. Consists of crisis communication team, key message, channels, audience, and internal communication procedure.
Okay.
So next, this is a crisis communication plan on accident at Lebuhraya, EXO. So Nurul Hanis will explain to you about her slide. Okay, Nurul Hanis, please.
Okay, thank you, Daniel Firdaus. Can you hear my voice clearly?
Very clear.
Okay. For our crisis communication plan for accident, we take three target audience, which are local communities and stakeholder, government and employees. So the communication channel that we use to local communities is construct a particular hotline or help desk to respond to people's inquiries, worries, and offering of supports. So the local communities can go to our EXO line, which is 1888-000, or they can call us for any question or another thing. Okay, so as for communication channel for government is we can arrange meeting and discussion where government representatives have the opportunity to talk about more fundamental transportation and development goals and work together on identical objective. Okay, so that is for the government one. Then we go to employees. The communication channel that we will use is for informing staff members on the latest company news, security precautions, and improvement to policies. Use memo that are internal and emails. That are the communication channel that we use for our target audience. So we go to next slide. Okay, this is for objective, and the objective we are do for each target audience. Okay, first objective is for local communities, that is restore the community's acceptance of Lebuhraya Plus and reduce as much as the highways adverse ecological impact as possible on nearby towns by putting green project, conservation plan and mitigation strategies into action. This is what we want to main objective to our local communities. So the next is we do the objectives for government, which is we want to guarantee total compliance to all pertinent safety and transport laws and regulation issued by the relevant government agencies. Okay, next we we also do objective for employees too, which is make employee security a top priority through carrying out regular training session and making sure that all staff members are capable of handling a variety of roadside emergencies. So the objective, if we take it for many corner for our target audience. Okay, so we move to key message, which is for local communities is we want to address the sacrifice that are being made to assist the victims and their relatives while expressing condolence and care for those impacted by the tragedy. We want to show to them that we have our own sympathy and we don't selfish. Okay, so the next is the key message for government, which is we are transparent in an exchange of current and precise data. We took many things important and don't say like insert thing. Okay, beside we go to employees key message, which is acknowledge errors if any are present and convey improvements. Okay, next slide. Okay, so I will give it to Adik Danial to this crisis response strategies. Okay, that's all from me.
Okay, thank you, Nurul HANIS. Assalamualaikum, Tuan Syed.
Waalaikumsalam.
Okay, for me, it's about the crisis response strategies. Okay, crisis response strategies has 3 levels of crisis. First is pre-crisis, which is before crisis happen. And then next is a crisis response during the crisis happen. And then next is a post-crisis after crisis happen. So we go at first about the pre-crisis, before crisis happen. And then pre-crisis has we provide the 4 strategies under the pre-crisis. First is risk assessment and planning. So under the risk assessment and planning, we develop crisis response plans that address various types of incidents, such as accidents, natural disaster, or hazardous material spills. So the next is collaboration and coordination. So below this is establish a partnership with the emergency service, law enforcement, local government, and relevant stakeholder. The next is a public education and awareness, implement educational campaign and promotes safe driving behaviors, the importance of a seatbelt and the danger of distracted driving. And last about the pre-crisis is infrastructure maintenance. Regularly inspect and maintain highway to ensure proper road condition and implement measures to address potential road hazard promptly. So during crisis, we provide the 4 strategies, and first is emergency communication. Utilize electronic message board, social media, and radio broadcast to keep the public informed. And next is a rapid deployment of emergency service. Prioritize medical care for the injured and coordinate with the law enforcement for traffic management. And the third, traffic management and diversion. Implement traffic control measure, including detours and road closure, to manage the flow of vehicle around the accident scenes. And use a variable message sign to guide driver and provide real-time information. And last, during crisis, victim care and education. Establish medical triage point, and coordinate with hospital for the reception of casualties. And the last is the after crisis happen. So under the last crisis, under the crisis, post crisis, we have 5 strategies. The first is investigation and documentation. Document evidence for legal insurance and improvement purpose. The second, recovery and restoration. Implement measure to restore normalcy, including road repairs and cleanup. And the third, media management. Maintain open the transparent communication with the media. Fourth, post-incident analysis. Conduct the comprehensive review of the crisis response, identifying strength and the area for improvement. So the last thing is training and continuous improvement. Conduct regular drill and exercises to ensure readiness for future incident. So that's all about the crisis response strategies for our company, AZHAR Highway. So next, we're going to move to the next CCP.
empty.
Hi, Tuan Syed, can you hear me?
Yes, ARYANI, right?
Yes, I will explain about crisis management team. We have COO, Chief Operating Officer, Chief Financial Officer, Media Relation, Logistic Officer. CO, Chief Executive Officer, Public Relation Officer, CLO, Chief Legal Officer, and OO, Chief Communication Officer. Okay. For CEO, Chief Executive Officer, define and effectively communications the organization direction, make critical decision under pressure, and maintain trust and transparency. Careful planning can help in coping with all emergency situations. Net for Public Relation Officer delivered standard intel response in the crisis management and planning stage, provide key point to each spokesperson to review and reference as need, respond quickly to address the crisis and provide accurate information. Delay can contribute to misinformation and damage control challenge. Next for CLO, Chief Legal Officer, aligning legal objectives with overall corporate goals and ensuring the legal considerations are integrated into the company's strategy decision. Responsible for developing and maintaining a strategy plan which include understanding how to implement. Next, CCO, Chief Communication Officer, promote a calm, measured attitude toward potential problem, demonstrate leadership by providing context to other upper management, helping them see that even serious concerns are not cause for alarm. COO, Chief Operating Officer, ensuring operational continuity, safeguarding employees, managing supply chains, and maintaining communication with stakeholders. Assessing the intel damage of the crisis, establishing control over the situation. For Chief Functional Officer, lead the risk management and mitigation of the crisis at hand, understanding of the business and ability to convert the understanding into financial outcome, assessing the potential business impact of crisis. Next, for media relation, stimulate discussion on the right measure to counter the cause and the adverse effect of a crisis and to overcome it. Draw public attention to the issue and provide his safety managed in real time. For the last position, logistic officer, ensure the availability of equipment and supplies, coordinate transportation of resources, and manage support service for safety. That's all. Tuan Syed, can I ask your opinion?
Can. So what is the opinion?
In your opinion, what other positions should be there to handle this crisis?
Okay. The number of people that you have here is too many, right? Number one, CMT will predominantly be led by the CEO or managing director, supported by the chief operating officer, because the chief operating officer will be the one to switch between him, the MD or CEO, and him as a lead. Okay. Now, under that title, The other players will be constitute the crisis communication team leader, who in this case is the chief communications officer. So technically, chief communication officer and public relation officers are one and the same, right? So if you put public relation officer, the word PRO is normally a junior role. CMT consists of either C-suites, right? C-suites will be chief operating officer, chief communication officer, HR, chief people officer, CFO for finance, chief financial officer, and in bigger organizations like Plus, we have the CGRO, chief risk and governance officer. Okay, so imagine the CEO MD sits on top. His number 2 would be chief operations officer, right? But all of us will sit on the same bench of the C-suite. Okay, now what happens is legal will fall under MD office, right? The head of legal. There is no chief legal officer as I know, but the head of legal is an advisor to the MD, right? But in a crisis CMT, the decisions and the funnel of information of the incident will come on the ground team into CMT, and the role of communications, internal and external, will be divided. So the CPO, Chief People Officer, will get the HR team after the messages are aligned to communicate to the staff. The Chief Communication Officer will deploy his comms team, and the comms team are also further broken into media relations, into social media management, and to an extent, certain government stakeholder. But in crisis situation, the thing to know that government, if you are a GLC, or even though you're a big multinational, when there's a national crisis that impacts the brand of the organization, the top level of government will contact the CEO straight away, right? So you know it's at that level, okay? Where the bottom line, the crisis communications team leader, which can be head of corporate comm, can be called a GM of strategic comm. If it's a C-level role, it's a chief communications officer, right? So C-level, apa bezanya C-level? C-level is, they call it C-suite, gaji besar. That's what you need to know. Dia ada driver, kita tak ada driver. Kita we call MD minus 1. We are not C-suites, but we are just the minus 1 of the MD. So normally comms can be either a C-suite depending on how they want to structure it. But in Plus, I was MD minus 1. The head of legal, right? Head of procurement, also must be involved. Why? They need to be in the pipeline together with finance for emergency spending. Suddenly kita tak ada beli motorboat because of a flood. So the governance of the financial process and the procurement process must be intact. But because they are part of the CMT, CEO and MD can tell them, cepatkan, sign off. So this is an emergency situation, like what happened with AIDIL, masa MCO kan, a lot of sebab dia darurat. So the sign off is easy, but it's also dangerous because governance sometimes tak nampak. Bila you sign out tiba-tiba bermillion people ke mana ni. So governance is very, very, very important during crisis. You got to make sure the money that goes out while it is a very urgent situation that it doesn't disappear and it's accounted for. Bila the crisis goes clear, you can still trace and track back where the money was used. Okay. Does that answer you, Hanis?
Thank you. You answered my question. Next, I will pass to Danial to present his slide.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
So, Aryani, please next slide, please. Okay, I did crisis communication plan for flood water at WCE Highway. So my target audience will be stakeholders, which are government and employees. The other one is local communities, commuters and travelers of Fast Highway, local communities residing near flood areas. So for the communication channel, I have quite many. One is to construct a particular line of help desk to respond to people's queries, worries and offering of support. The other is the communication channel like EXO line 1-800-40. So the other one is Facebook, Twitter, website and YouTube for any update from the EXO Highway. So another method we will use for communication channel is highway message boards and electronic billboards, and releasing the press release distributed to traditional media outlets. So we will go to the objective and key message. Please. Okay, for the objective, we ensure the safety of commuters and nearby residents, provide clear and accurate information on the flood situation, coordinate emergency response efforts effectively, and minimize disruption and inconvenience to travelers. So for the key message, I will emphasize safety first. It is and to encourage travelers to avoid affected areas and follow EXO highway safety guidelines. And another one is provide real-time updates on flood water levels, road closure and alternative road, like they publish on the social media. Another one, ensure the public data. So Highway is working with relevant authorities to address the situation properly and communicate empathy and understanding for the impact on commuters and local communities. So for the crisis response strategies, it also has 3 levels like 4. It is pre-crisis, crisis response and post-crisis. So for the pre-crisis, EXO Highway do some risk assessment and planning, like identify flood-prone areas along the EXO Highway through thorough risk assessment, and develop comprehensive plans and strategies for dealing with potential flood events. And we also do early warning system, like implement advanced weather monitoring and forecasting system, establish an effective early warning system to alert authorities and the public about potential floods, like seeing the water level on the highway, using the boat we put it in the river. And public awareness and education, like conduct public awareness campaign on flood preparedness and safety measures, and educate new drivers on alternative roads and safety procedures in case of flooding. That is for the crisis. For the crisis response, we do the emergency activation, activate the crisis management team, and emergency response protocols immediately upon receiving flood alert. And communication and coordination, establish clear communication channels between relevant authorities, emergency services and the public. Another one is evacuation and shelter management for flood victims. Implement evacuation plan for affected areas and guide motorists to safe location. And traffic management, work on diverting traffic away from affected areas through alternative routes. For the pre-crisis, we also after the crisis we do the assessment and damage evaluation. Conduct a comprehensive assessment of the flood impact on infrastructure, including the highway surrounding areas. Number 2 is recovery and rehabilitation. Initiate immediate repairs and rehabilitation efforts on damaged infrastructure, and provide financial and logistical support for affected individuals and community. After that, we review and update the protocol. Update crisis management protocol and infrastructure to enhance future flood response capabilities. And the last one is we do the public awareness for future preparedness. Like enforce public awareness campaign on flood preparedness for the victim and for those who are not involved in the flood.
Okay.
I will ask for your opinion on this slide later after we finish the flood crisis management team.
All right.
I will pass to Jasmine.
Hello, Assalamualaikum.
Salam. Yes.
Okay, so for the flood CMD, okay, so we will start with the CEO as the spokesperson, and then to the public relations department, to deal with the internal and external communication.
Right.
They also communicate with stakeholders and the public to maintain the reputation of the organization. Next one is operations, which they manage emergency response and operational plans. They also develop safety protocol and also coordinate safety measures. Next one is for the legal team. So they deal with legal success. They also ensure the organization's actions so that they comply with the law and regulations. Okay, so next one is the financial team, where they handle financial implications, for example, the budget allocations, response efforts, and recovery planning. And for the last one, which is planning and recovery, they will evaluate the and the requirements in the impacted area. They will also focus on flood recovery and risk reduction in the future. So that's it for the flood CMP. I'll ask question later after we start from the beginning.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Tuan Syed, for the comments, can we move to for the crisis communication and ARYANI yang HANIS Park. Not author but accident. Okay, so this is HANIS part. Can you give comments on his part of doing crisis communication plan?
Okay. Let me share with you something. Yeah. So this one, this one went through reading. Betul? Let me try and share with you. For both your plans, you actually can combine it, right? I applaud the effort. I really see the thought, the process. I really see how you all identify what needs to be inside. But the beauty of it should be one crisis communication plan which addresses any highway related situation. We're talking about a crisis communication plan for highway, right? So be it a traffic incident, be it a flood situation, be it a wildlife situation. I think Terengganu, you all have read the news dulu when cars crash into wildlife like black bear and all that, right? So all those lead to a potential crisis. What you need to now look at before any crisis, there is an issue. Issue will then, if unmitigated, the issue will lead into a crisis situation. But sometimes a crisis just happens like that. You know about the plane that crashed into Almina?
Yes.
That was a crisis. Nobody foresaw the issue, right? So the crisis, that more often than not, we tak terjangka, right? What I need to look at in terms of the crisis is your purpose. Hang on, let me just share that. Can I share a screen?
Sure.
I share. You see? Are you able to see?
No.
No.
I cannot see any of your
Slides.
Not yet.
Not yet. Can you see now?
yes.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah.
Can you see the whole thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Can.
Can, huh? Okay, this one lari a bit. So this is a step on how you can develop an issues mitigation and crisis communication plan for a Malaysian highway. How you can address the challenges of traffic incidents. So traffic incident, because the international term is no longer accidents or crashes. It's traffic incident. And alleviate congestion, right? And ensure communication between stakeholders. This is the fundamental purpose of the plan, right? Because when either accident or flooding happen, what's the thing you need to do? Congestion will happen. You need to take away the congestion. And you need to ensure between all relevant stakeholders so that there's no confusion. Right? Can you see this?
Yes.
Nampak tak?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm just sharing with you a template of steps, right? I'm not giving you the answer. The answer you can design. I'm giving you the methodology on how to fish. I'm not giving you the fish. So the high overview, you can see there's increasing traffic. In traffic incident, you need to have data about the daily traffic throughput, right? And you need to know frequent flood areas, why that area has happened. So in your generic crisis communications plan, these three things, including infrastructure limitation, impact your crisis communications. Are you so far with me on this?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Stakeholders within. So as you know, the CMT are the one layer of internal stakeholders. Below them is another layer of internal stakeholders. Quite important to monitor and to manage. Remember, there are families out there. So any slip of the communication tongue, the family may, out of worry, out of panic, out of fear, may produce different narratives and may cause more stress externally from authorities back to your organization while trying to resolve the crisis situation. Understand where I'm coming from?
Okay.
So where I'm coming from, you can juggle your stuff. You got to update them immediately so that they sing the correct message or the same correct tune if their family members ask. So that they don't give different perspective out of fear and panic, and then the family shares that message out in their own network and circle, and that reaches some authority, some agency, some government people, and then they start reacting. And while you're trying to resolve it, you get extra unnecessary stress. You can list it out because external, whether it's a highway, whether it's a bank, whether it's an institution like UNIZA, you know parties are. And always the number one external stakeholder, they are the one that can make or break your business. So for UNIZA, the external one would be the Ministry of Education, the Pejabat Daerah Education, right? So all these people plus a lot more are important stakeholders when a crisis comes to be communicated to. So I think Idid, right? You mentioned about risk assessment, correct?
Yes, 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 right.
You need to sit down. The crisis, the issues, mitigation, crisis communication plan doesn't happen overnight, and it has to be planned before any crisis. You need to design and develop this during peacetime, right? There's no danger. And you sit down collectively with management to understand what are the potential risks that that organization may face that will disrupt or destroy the business. And you need, after once you do the risk assessment and you tag it in terms of high risk, medium risk, low risk, zero risk, it has to be collectively understood and agreed. So, not the job of the communicator alone. Is that clear? You understand?
Okay. So the risk assessment divide into three levels, like low, medium, and high risk before developing a crisis communication plan.
Yes. Then later, the crisis communication plan also will have the green, which is business as usual. Then you have the yellow or amber to be alert, to take note. And the red alert, the red flag means is the full-blown crisis. you need to assess the risk you work under. Everything has a risk. In your particular scope, in your particular industry, there are risks involved. And with today's data point of information, now let's say you want to do a crisis management plan for a bank. You can actually pull out what are the types of risks associated to banking and financial institutions. Okay? So remember, guys, you have the power of Professor Google. Okay? And the proactive measures, once you've identified the layers and levels of risk that may impact the business continuity of the organization, then you need to look at what are the proactive measures I need to take to, one, make sure these levels do not escalate. What are the items that I need to have? What are the actions I need to do if I identify a growing issue, to nip it in the bud and to stop it from turning into a full-blown crisis? That would be a proactive measure. Right? Contoh, Plus has identified in terms of its strategic assets from the north down to the south, two major national risks. You want to try to tell me which are the two major national risks which are along the Plus Highway in the north and in the south? Anyone?
Landsliding.
That's one, yeah. But if something happened to these two, we may be cut off from land support or help.
Dam explosion.
No, because there's no dam near Plus Highway, and the highways will never be built next to dams because there's a big risk. The two key strategic assets I'm talking about is the link dual that connects Singapore to Malaysia and the Penang Bridge. So the proactive measure that Plus does is every alternate year, there is a crisis simulation initiative or program, right? They will look and create, they will get an external risk management agency to come up with a scenario. They will simulate scenarios. One of the scenarios that they simulated for the link duo when I joined was a toxic oil spill. Toxic oil spill and the lorry turnover. The bridge connects Malaysia and Singapore. What are the proactive measures you can do to contain the toxicity of the chemicals? How do you make sure traffic is mitigated? Because it's a very busy causeway between Singapore and Malaysia. You need to also have international relations in terms of stakeholder engagement, so that the other party in Singapore, your counterpart in Singapore, also activates their CMT and CMP to make sure that their traffic flow from Singapore into that stretch is also contained. So proactive measures is basically what so risk assessment is to identify these are the possible risks that will happen and destroy me or disrupt me or stop my business. Okay? Risk assessment. Proactive measures is what can I do to make sure it doesn't happen. third effective communication is to make sure that there are steps and ways and identify the key type of platforms to communicate. The communication is very, very important as it mitigates the danger of panic and it mitigates the danger of negative reactions. Okay? So these are top line. For traffic incidents, you need to discuss a strategy to prompt incident responses and traffic diversion and accidents clearance. These are the whole thing. What are the strategy that prompt that is the incident response? What are your traffic management plans? What is the accident clearance punya initiative to clear the thing within how long, how fast? In a nutshell, this is called traffic ERT, emergency response, with the TMP, traffic management plan in place. So all this actually, when you plan, you must have all these things thought out already, right? In terms of flooding, you've outlined the tactics for early flood detection. What can, now for example, to be honest, 2021, there was a Shah Alam, we didn't really have a early flood detection. Neither does the country. Drainage management, unfortunately, in Shah Alam, when it flooded to the toll plaza to the second floor, the drainage management was impacted because of the factories nearby that sealed off the longkang with their own cement. Right? So this learning says that you need enforcement, you need effective stakeholder management. Okay? Engagement with LLM and key government agencies. Right? So there's a lot more to this, but these are just some quick examples. Okay? Your local state government, your local council, your bomba, your police, your national APAM, you know. So when you have a plan done up, you need to test it in terms of activating, having within the crisis communications plan, under the crisis management plan, CMP, you need to embed periodical simulation, like what they do for the Penang Bridge, for the link kedua. They also have for Menora Tunnel, right? And I think in LPT2, they also have certain stretch where over the years it's become a black mark, a black that area, a black spot. That black spot is over the year, within that year, kekerapan of incidents happen at that stretch. So it's a black spot. A black spot is identified and they find out what's the possibility of repeat traffic incidences. It comes and is measured as an identified risk. Once that is done, then you can do simulation of various scenarios. Okay? So you have to then, of course, through the process of simulation, you learn what can be done, what you have put into your plan may change. Because remember, ladies and gentlemen, no two things are ever the same. There are similar fundamentals in a crisis DNA, right? Or what you need to refine is the learnings you do when you conduct regular simulation. Okay? And then you have to have a comprehensive rollout plan. All right? Then as you do this, your best practice and lesson learned is to continuously evaluate. When you continuously evaluate, you learn more data point. Now, as I said, the crisis will never be the same format. If your highway, this car crashed into the menorah left side, don't expect the same type of car to also crash in the menorah left side. If that repeats, that means there's something terribly wrong with the road structure at that particular area, and you are at fault, and it's no longer a crisis. It's an issue of incompetency. Okay, but because incidences that may lead to crisis are never one and the same, the simulation will give you new perspective, will unearth and unravel different things, and you use these learnings to review and update your crisis plan. And of course, with all the stakeholders, from police, from JPJ, from Bomba, from the Red Cross, all those agencies, the learnings, the inputs you gather will become very rich, and the stakeholders, how they view how you manage is also taken into a learning point. And very, very important, you need to be agile in situations where you've got to think on your feet and adapt it. Okay? So that is my nutshell in terms of sharing with you how you can look at planning your CMP. So remember, there's CMP, Crisis Management Plan, and then there's CCP, Crisis Communications Plan. CMP punya plan is collectively agreed and designed by all those C-suites, the kepala. Crisis Communication Plan falls from the CMT, but that is the punca kuasa lies with comms. The kepala of comms will be the Crisis Com Team Leader or CCTL. Within the CCTL team, there'll be one to jaga media, one to jaga social media, one to jaga the internal communication with HR, and to jaga the internal communication with operations. I notice what is good. I notice you all put in billboard communication as well, right? Yes, kita ada what we call VMS, Variable Messaging System. So if you travel, sometimes you see that digital thing kan. Selamat datang ke FPT2. We will use that. And in terms of social media, that dijaga and is taken care of by the social media team under communications. But they work very closely with operation team who is placed in the what we call TMC. So remember, from a generic point of view, you have to find there is always a control channel where things that happen is reported directly. So the traffic monitoring center is like if you see astronaut punya movie, the station, they call it what? Houston, right? It's a monitoring center that sees the traffic situation all over. So even in banks will also have their CCTVs. All these are data points, but they're not only data point when a crisis happens, they also capture proof of how that incident menular. Because with that type of data point, as a comms person, then you can chart your messaging. And your messaging is based on fakta-fakta from the data points that you get. But you must verify data points from the owner, which is operations. So comms tak boleh sewenang-wenang shoot out a press release without verifying what happened, what incident happened during that traffic incident with the ground people from operations. Comms cannot So when I come out with a press release, oh LPT2 Jabur ada flood. What caused the flood? Where did the flood come from? Right? So we need all this information. I think one of the example I can share with you before I left Plus, 2022, the end 2022, there was one of dekat LPT2 heavy rain. I don't know whether there's a river embankment on top or some water pondage. It was so heavy that the rock pecah. And when the rock pecah, everything, all the water all flooded down onto LPT2. Biasalah, then ada orang netizen ambil gambar, tengok the whole bun LPT2 pecah, all the water flooding and all that, right? So we took the footage, we verified it with the ground people. So the ground people, the LPT2 punya staff went there, and remember the beauty about and the danger about social media. Before your orang sampai, the citizen yang sangkut kat sana, they start creating story already, right? So you can't avoid that. You need to accept that this is the world we live in now. You cannot avoid that. What you can do is you get your internal interaction, your people operations need to go there and verify the situation, clarify the accuracy of what the chronology of what happened, convey it back. Then with that clarity, and then of course the operations team on the ground is very good. So one of your key stakeholders is you need comms cannot. So when I come out with a press release, oh LPT2 Jabur ada flood. What caused the flood? Where did the flood come from? Right? So we need all this information. I think one of the example I can share with you before I left Plus, 2022, the end 2022, there was one of dekat LPT2 heavy rain. I don't know whether there's a river embankment on top or some water pondage. It was so heavy that the rock pecah. And when the rock pecah, everything, all the water all flooded down onto LPT2. Biasalah, then ada orang netizen ambil gambar, tengok the whole bun LPT2 pecah, all the water flooding and all that, right? So we took the footage, we verified it with the ground people. So the ground people, the LPT2 punya staff went there, and remember the beauty about and the danger about social media. Before your orang sampai, the citizen yang sangkut kat sana, they start creating story already, right? So you can't avoid that. You need to accept that this is the world we live in now. You cannot avoid that. What you can do is you get your internal interaction, your people operations need to go there and verify the situation, clarify the accuracy of what the chronology of what happened, convey it back. Then with that clarity, and then of course the operations team on the ground is very good. So one of your key stakeholders is you need comms doesn't work in a vacuum, and comms doesn't work on a high level. Oh, I just jaga C-suite. Your comms team have to be put darah daging with the operation, darah daging with the marketing, right? And this is one of the statement made by one of the top guns lah in the corporate world dulu, made to me. He said, Syed, your PR people are very smart, they're very intelligent, they're very creative. But the sad thing is, they are not in depth in the industry knowledge. And for highway, industry knowledge is, you can only gain it by partnering your operations team. Dia turun padang, you turun padang. So the other thing, before you can, developing a crisis management plan is textbook. But the intisari, or the little nuances of the things that you want to put inside that crisis management plan is to go on ground with the operations people. So, Jasmine, who was the one playing the slides just now? Can you go up on the slides? Noorani, go back to the slides. Let's go back and let me, give you some tips. Okay? Wow, so colorful, pink color. Okay, so like I said, I really applaud, number one, the effort. You have thought as much as you can, right? Which is good. So your crisis management plan, while I shared with you the framework, the crisis management plan that you need to do is to actually have your objective first. What is the purpose of this plan? Let me see whether I can. Okay. Now, your objective, remember, there's only one objective in crisis management plan: to make sure that the bad doesn't get worse. Right? So, restore community acceptance of the highway. When a crisis happens, it doesn't mean the community dah tolak you dah. Right? The main objective of a crisis communication plan, whether it is whether it's a flood or traffic incidents, is this. Let me give you. I'm going to share this with you. I'm going to give you a quick streamline. I did a very easy one. Mana dia? For you. Nampak tak? So what you need to do is, can you see?
Yes.
You can see, So I quickly come up with the issues mitigation and communication plan framework for highways. You can use this same prompt and put it, you don't have to be highways, just a crisis communication plan. Okay? Because you want to talk about traffic incident and start resulting in congestion and line up the crisis management stakeholders. So we have the prompt. Can you read it now? The plan outlines a comprehensive framework for mitigating issues and managing crisis comm during traffic incidents and flooding on Malaysian highways. It incorporates specific considerations for the Malaysian context, emphasizing collaboration with the regulatory body, LLM, and key government agencies. So the introduction to your CMP would be this. Your objective is to minimize disruption, ensure public safety, maintain trust during traffic incidents and flooding. Regardless of the situation, these are the three objectives. The plan aims to establish a coordinated approach and to address the issues to make the prompt mitigation strategies and clear communications with all the stakeholders very robust. Oh, in fact, what are your objectives again? Read it out for me. I know that you're reading it one by one.
Our objective for the accident is to restore the community's acceptance of Lebuh Plus and
No.
reduce.
Read mine. Read mine.
Okay.
So this is your objective. Your CCP objective is this.
Okay.
Can you read it for me, Danny? The first point, minimize.
To minimize disruption and congestion. Read until the
Implement.
finish.
You
And ensure public safety, maintain transparency and trust, facilitate efficient response, minimize environmental impact.
Yes, because you know that when a flood happens, or even when there's a crash, you need to make sure the incidents does not destroy the environment.
Okay.
If it's a big crash, gas tanker meletup, part of the forest where your main line is, kan dia ada pokok, ada bukit, right?
Yes.
So you got to make sure you contain the fire. Okay, this is a scope. So can you see the scope?
Yes, the scope is traffic, accident, flooding, and other accidents.
So who are your crisis management stakeholders? Okay lah.
Crisis management stakeholders. So
Internal.
this is for the target audience.
Yes, this is the target audience. This is stakeholder.
Okay. Highway authorities, emergency services, maintenance crews.
Highway authority actually is LLM.
Oh, Lebuh Malaysia.
Lembaga. Emergency services, yes, you need them. They are considered part of the internal team. The maintenance in operation, the communication. Why emergency service? All this is here because there is a collaboration of JSPT, the police traffic, and JPJ that are dedicated to Plus Highway. Those patrol team from PDRM and from JPJ that are under the Plus Highway, while their power is still from PDRM and JPJ, their team member punya kereta and bangunan is sponsored by Plus. They cannot take the police car out of Plus Highway. JPJ cannot take away their JPJ car out of Plus Highway. There is a different livery in that vehicle. They will be penalized if they take it to another highway or if they use it on JKR road.
Oh, okay. So the authorities like police and JPJ who patrol on the Plus Highway cannot go to out of the boundaries of Plus Highway.
Yes. So that's why the highways, when they collaborate with these agencies when they commit to deploy people just for us, we pay for them. We pay for that's why we give away the cars, we give away we give away asset, they don't pay rent for the building. We maintain the building, right? So become, in that sense, internal stakeholders.
So they only provide you service in return for your contribution, like cars and other
Yes,
things.
they are collaborators. They are collaborators. Our contribution is not that we want to contribute to them the cars. We are giving them the tools to keep our highway safe.
Okay.
So this one, like I said, this just gives a broad picture. You can use AI, BART or ChatGPT to, you have to prompt it properly, then it gives you some sort of semblance of a direction. So mitigation strategy is traffic management, flood prevention, maintenance and improvement of infrastructure, public awareness campaign. I think Adib got mentioned kan, public awareness. I
On
think one of
his
you
slide.
mentioned about public awareness.
Yes, I
The
mentioned public
PSA,
campaigns.
the public service announcement on how to drive safely. Like if you go to Plus punya Instagram, you will see the how the message tone and flow is done. They will have, bila dah dekat musim hujan, you see a lot of dia punya Instagram infographic how to memandu kereta dalam keadaan hujan. For motorcyclist, pakailah baju hujan, jangan laju, right? So there is a strategy plan on also determined by our weather structure on how we produce these key assets. And the good thing about all this awareness, PSA punya visuals and all that, it's usable, reusable. You use one, you can keep the same asset. Bila dah dekat, anytime, sometimes we also don't know, right? Tiba-tiba yang bukan musim tengkujuh, dia hujan. But you can use it quickly. The good thing about this, number one is your assets. The messages don't change. And because it's social media, you can plug and play very easy and fast. Okay? Let me just share. So that is mitigation strategy, communication tactics. Now this one, of course, is AIDIL, multilingual. But setakat kebanyakan GLC is Melayu. But it's nice to have Melayu and English minimum. Okay? And of course the best if you got Chinese also lah. Then it shows the muhibah spirit of really you are authentically respecting, the major races in Malaysia. So leverage multiple channels, highway radio broadcast. I brought in Astro radio traffic to help plus, and then all these are what you have already put in, right? Real-time updates is very, very important. That's why the Twitter and the TMC punya updates are more or less the realest time lah. But as I said, the challenge is sometimes netizen lagi cepat. Okay? So proactive engagement, you need to be proactive. Jangan tunggu something happen, then only we communicate. If you can see a lot of the linking, a lot of the things that we're doing on WCE is quite proactive. Media engagement, don't engage the media bila ada crisis. Have a robust, regular engagement or meetup or teh tarik or lunch plan with the media. Jadi kawan, just chit chat and talk about things, how are progressing, what are the plans. So when something terrible happens, you're calling a friend. You're not calling, or they're not going to call you to try and chuchok and put the blame on you. They will call you and say, hey, can I help? What actually happened? Please tell me. And of course, as I always talk about, the 3 letters of honesty, integrity, and transparency, that is the fundamental of communications so that you become a hit with your audience. And once you have this honesty in terms of your communication, integrity in your message, transparency in awareness, the trust level increases. And even though it's a bad situation you are in, more or less they forgive you. Okay? So you also need to know that your stakeholder, when you plot your stakeholder in terms of priority, in terms of power influence, who are important. So I put here LLM because LLM can make or break any highway. So they are critical. So this one, you may decide to have or not to have. Right? It is ideal. But sometimes, to be honest, your stakeholder, government stakeholder may have a different viewpoint on the situation. So sometimes I would say, to start off with, keep the CMP and the CCP close to your heart. Keep it private, keep it internal for you to use. But you have to have a emergency line, and normally this is the role of the CEO, with KPLLM, with the minister, with all the top level. The working level, don't worry, right? And for comms, you just jaga the external communications to the media. Okay? And of course, the final is, because social media, if you have a social intelligence and media listening agency or tool, then you can quickly get real-time messaging interface from the public who are viewing and looking at all the different perspectives and messages that are shared on social media, and you can be able to pluck out a red flag certain personalities or certain groups which comment may lead into something detrimental or dangerous for the company reputation during that time of crisis. Okay? Can go back to your slide again, Aryani. Okay, so crisis management team, I've given you, no need to be so many, right? Keep it to stakeholder for either or is the same. Stakeholder, you keep it simple. Number one, internal stakeholder, the management team, the employees and staff. Right? External stakeholder is your government regulator, the authorities, the media, and the customer. So customer is considered your community lah, right? Yes, Jasmine.
What do you think is the most important role for the CMT?
The most important role for the CMT is to make sure everyone works towards the end goal of reducing damage from the incident. Reducing damage in terms of where the CMT also gives instruction or insights to the ground team, the ERT team, on what they need to do. At the same time, it also gives direction and directives to the communications team in terms of the stakeholder engagement, in terms of the public engagement, in terms of media liaison, so that the messages goes out, is controlled, is measured, and it's not all over the place. So normally CEO will say, okay, this is our message, 1, 2, 3. Consistently, just keep communicating that. Right? So contoh, when we had that, I call it the RFID rollout blowout on 15 January 2022. You all know that RFID. Semua orang bising dengan plus, bila plus roll out. In fact, RFID existed in all the other ways. Why plus? Okay, there's a reason why plus. But the key thing in terms of mitigating that, our messaging, we call it the message triangulation. Number one, we went back to the public, say, hey, it is a public pilot. That means it's a test. Second, we still offer Touch and Go and Smart Tag. This is additional payment solution. Number three message, we will continuously improve the efficiency of RFID because it is the step towards a congestion-free highway to multi-lane free flow. So that was a message triangulation of the three messages. We keep hammering that again and again and again. So over a period where thing that burst out, yang rakyat kata tak mau RFID, nak smart tag balik. After PSA education and awareness, and then of course we also had infographics, taught them how to drive, don't zoom past and all that. Once they acclimatize and they experience the RFID buka palang, so from no more smart tag, I want back smart tag, the one RFID, pangkar. 6 months down the road, Mr. Plus, boleh tambah RFID lorong tak? So switch. So the needle move from communications. Okay? Hope that answers you, Jasmine.
Yes, thank you.
Any questions? Wow, we're going to 5 o'clock.
So, Tuan Syed, for the flow of CMT thing, just now you said the CEO is the head.
Yeah.
After that, it goes to Chief Operating Officer.
Chief Operating Officer is his mirror.
Oh.
His mirror. But Chief Operating Officer is important because ground, they control. Right? CEO role will be front-facing to the government, to the minister. Kalau dia kena tarik jawab kat parlimen, dia lah. Kalau ada isu atau krisis.
Okay. So the Chief Operating Officer is reported directly to CEO.
Yeah. And the rest of us will be a double. Well, normally we'll take orders from the CEO or MD lah.
So CCO and PR is the same department?
Well, either it's head of comms or chief communication officer. Chief communication officer and head of comms, the difference is gaji 20,000. And satu ada driver, satu tak ada driver.
But sir, okay, for CMT, do we put the PR or the chief of what communication?
You just put head of comms pun cukup. Head of comms and then bracket crisis communication team leader. Head of comms will always pegang crisis communications plan. CMT has the crisis management plan. Crisis management plan is broken out to ERT, emergency response, which is created by the operations, and then there is the ERT and business continuity plan, which is designed from the risk assessment. once you have the risk assessment, you identify the risk. The plan of business continuity will have ERT, CMP. And under CMP and even ERT, the public knowledge comes from the CCP, Crisis Communication Plan. Right?
So,
Okay, Jasmine is looking like, okay,
Okay, I'm still thinking of the questions. Okay,
okay.
then you can continue.
Alright. Aryani okay tak Aryani? Aryani tak tanya soalan tu?
Okay.
Don't be shy lah. Can I see the how many slides are in total? This crisis. Okay, sorry, go back. Okay. So your media liaison, you have to know media liaison, crisis com, chief communication, PR, more is one. Okay, because let's say it's a head of com lah, forget the title chief communication. Head of com will have one guy jaga media, one guy jaga LLM, one guy jaga social media. And then one person, community. They have to then mobilize kita punya section punya orang. Katakan that community dekat Shah Alam, because of the banjir, they are stuck. So they will call, okay, our section, our class ronda, our section manager, our section executive, all that, okay, ada boat, go and rescue. Then I recall, so what we did, Shah Alam was so flooded. When it surut, there were a group of 30 highway customers stuck at a small island one, right? We managed to use our vehicle to bring them back to Persada. So what under the CCD, Crisis Comms team, Paul Mashita make sure with HR, as they know they're coming, quickly go to supermarket, beli food, beli mattress, beli tuala, beli bantal. Right? So these are things that you want to do from a humanitarian point of view. So remember, while you have all these things, you need to also insert the outcome of humanitarian support. Yes, Adib.
Saya nak tanya soalan 4 saya yang pasal crisis response strategy tu.
Boleh tunjuk tak?
Okay Tuan, macam Tuan mention tadi, yang engagement, monitor semua tu, adakah saya perlu buat combine ataupun saya perlu buat macam pre-crisis, crisis response ni dengan post-crisis lagi? Macam ni buat 3 tahap lah, sebelum, semasa, selepas.
Yes, so what you do is your crisis response, you have to put issues and crisis response strategy. There is no pre-crisis, there is issues mitigation. Right? Crisis response, yes. Post-crisis pun ada. Right? But there's no pre-crisis. Kalau kita letak pre-crisis, you dah tahu crisis. Betul tak?
Betul.
And you didn't do anything. Nanti dia like that. Choose. Kita terbau, ada isu lah, nampak benda ni akan jadi isu. Sebelum dia meletup jadi krisis, apa yang kita boleh mitigate? What are the steps that we can do so that the fire doesn't explode? So kita dah nampak dia punya, what do you call it lah, in BM, we see the ember of the fire, the flame, kan? So the mitigation either tuang air ke, ada tembus dengan tanah ke, then the fire mati. So that is called issues mitigation. So issues mitigation is, you're correct, have a risk assessment plan to identify the risk, identify the collaborators, right? They can come. Risk assessment plan, you dah tahu dah. Based on the issues, what is the issue of Lebuh Raya Pantai Timur 2? The issue is banjir, right, for the highway and binatang liar. So based on that risk assessment, then you do the study and say, okay, from the information or from the media over the past 5 years, what is the two biggest issue of that lead to the flood and lead to binatang liar? To lead to the flood, is it at specific lokasi, right? That one mungkin dah jadi hotspot. So you identify in your risk assessment that, kilometer ni kat LPT 2 selalu ada banjir. Why? Go down to the why. Always keep going down to the why. Is it that before that, the two distance of the kilometer, dia sunken in, and then from map atau meteorological punya data, that kawasan dia punya rainfall seems to be the highest for whatever reason lah. That one Allahualam lah, Allah yang tahu kan why that side. But having said that, what were done in the past, yang dia punya issues, how was it resolved? Kalau hujan, what is the first thing that was done? Cepat-cepat ada TMP lah. Either you put the plus ronda team standby, you put the VMS to warn people, bahaya, memandu dengan hati-hati, right? And then the other issue, second issue for LPT 2, binatang liar, or just lembu, right? Why? Where is the kekerapan? Yang accident tu sebab binatang liar, or the accident sebab lembu. So binatang liar, if there is a certain location that you identify, you pinpoint, you can then go back to penghilitan and say why. Maybe there was some construction development yang push the wild animal, that they lari into the highway malam, or is because of the development, dia punya habitat, dia punya makanan dah kurang, so they start to migrate and pose danger. Lembu, why? I'll tell you why. Lembu kat LPT 2, sebab LPT 2 dia punya asset, dia punya rumput sedap, and the orang kampung pandai selalu cut the fence. If you tengok fence, okay, WCE still use the old fence lah, hijau. Dulu plus pun hijau. Sekarang you boleh tengok plus atau LPT 2 punya fencing, dia macam orange lah. Kalau you perasan, dia orange, macam merah. Why? Special order, color. So kalau ada orange, that means kawasan tu pernah orang gunting dia punya, potong dia punya fence. The reason why they buy the special color, because orang kampung tak akan ngaku yang dia potong bagi lembu dia pergi makan. Ada pula dia potong, dia guna fencing tu buat reban. So the green fencing is standard fencing that goes and make into reban. So you nak tangkap mereka tak boleh. Tapi sekarang, because got the special color, aku pergi kampung, sahlah kau curi fence I sebab merah. You cannot buy the merah fence kat luar. Sah, it belongs to LPT 2 atau plus. Yes, Hanis.
Okay, sir. I want to ask regarding my CCPs. I'm a little bit confused. So, the CCP, we just put general only, like objective. What I'm doing is my objective is for one target audience. For each target audience. So, what I must do is general and combine
General.
just
Because
general.
crisis is crisis.
Oh,
Your different stakeholder tu, dia akan melalui the same, the level of stress, the level of trouble mungkin berlainan,
okay.
right? But your key message is about safety, it's about comfort, it's about resolution to resolve the problem, right? So when you can actually, it's broad, right? The objective of any crisis plan is to make sure, for example, this one you're talking about traffic, is to make sure the traffic management is communicated, right? Like just now when I shared with you guys the key things about the number one, the objective when you communicate is to minimize the disruption and congestion. To make sure you ensure public safety, maintain the transparency and trust. These are your main objective key messages to facilitate efficient response. Now, the key messages specifically, Hanis, you need to look at the situation. Kalau the flood situation kat kawasan Jabor, katakanlah, who is the community there? Right? That community, your key message is to bring them to safety. Right? So the CCP message is only one thing: to tell people we are aware this thing has happened. Where you verify, that's your key message. Number one, confirm. Don't lie to the public. Say yes, we are aware. We know this happened. Whether it's incident ke, whether it's flood ke. Number two, we are doing something about it. We are on the ground. Number three, we will update you regularly. These are the key messages you put out.
Okay.
When you have update, then you use a press release and say, okay, we have done this. So contoh, what we did when there was how you call sinkhole in Malay, that lubang tiba-tiba the whole road ada lubang besar because bawah the tanah dah tanah what tanah let me see.
Mendap.
Tanah mendap, yes. So what happened is at Gua Tempurung on the way to Ipoh, when I was in when I just joined, the one bulan Ogos or bulan Julai, tiba-tiba on the way to Gua Tempurung to Ipoh, a huge hole. Nasib baik tak ada kereta masuk. So our first crisis punya, the objective is to make aware so that people can be safe. Once they're aware, they make sure they don't go there, or if they're near there, they be extra careful. So that's your objective of the crisis communications, to keep people safe. Awareness towards safety, that's the key objective. The key message that we send, we know that this happened, so the first press release confirm the incident, show the gambar of the lubang, and show the people at the site. Right? So the message is, we know our people are there. Second, we show the people at the site with the tractor, with the guardrail, with the cone, all that, and then some people up there, and then with all tools. Second message, we're doing something about it. Our team is fixing it. 3 hours, They cover the whole lubang. Nampak lah. Ambil gambar tu, lubang dah seal. We have fixed the lubang. We had a 4th press release. Everything's A-okay. Lubang is secure. Integrity of the road is secure. Why? Ada kereta crossing. Kita ambil gambar kereta berjalan on top of that lubang. Right? So remember, the objective of communication, the message is verify and confirm the incident, inform of the actions to be taken, give assurance that the matter is resolved.
So sir, so I can combine with the CCP for flag, or
Yes, the message will never change.
or it's the same thing lah.
Educate to confirm and affirm incident happen, whatever lah. Even the rumah runtuh ke, the bangunan jatuh ke, even if got rock slide ke, you have to verify the incident. The first thing is to verify, yes, we confirm this happened, don't worry, we will update you.
Okay.
Second message that goes out, we are looking into the problem and we are on top of it. Third one, message, we have resolved it and we have fixed the problem.
Okay.
Then if necessary, you take the fourth one, it is back to normal, safe to use. Yep, that's it.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, Yan, can you go to my slide?
Kita beli
Okay,
yang dinner ni lepas ni.
Okay, so regarding my CMT4 flood, earlier you said about the patrol team
Yeah, so patrol for other operations.
operations.
Yes.
Okay, so earlier you said that it's not
Patrol
important.
ERT, patrol team, the Ronda and ERT fall under operations.
Okay. So since you said that it's not necessary for CMT to have a lot of teams, so do you think that communication, operation, legal, financial and recovery team is
HR,
enough?
HR. Operations have the recovery team.
Oh.
The ERT team and the Ronda all fall under COO.
Oh.
Actually, guys, girls, don't worry. Everything that you put here is there. You just need to readjust it a bit to make it more streamlined here.
Okay. So it's going to be the CEO, the CCO, COO, and legal and financial.
Yeah. Actually, what you need to do is you put the CEO or MD / COO. Then below, sorry, I forgot one more. So the CEO or MD is interchangeable, right? Okay, it's just a matter of shareholdership. His shadow is the COO. There's one more person where the operations lead. We call it in the CMT. Sorry, I forgot. It's called the Chief of Staff. So Chief of Staff and CCLT is together. We are side by side. Chief of Staff is our senior GM of Operations Excellence. So all the ground thing, operationally, whatever the crisis or incident is happening, this Chief of Staff will raise it to CMT, CCO and all that. Now remember CPO, CFO, they are there for functional matters. Functional in sense of give the okay for money, make sure that CPO make sure that the staff are aware of the situation. But the main critical work is between the chief of staff, because the chief of staff have the ERT team and the CCLT, the comms team lead. Chief of staff would also help in terms of stakeholder engagement with LLM. Okay, so if you want to draw a generic a generic CM punya org chart, you just put there COO, no, CEO/COO, then kat bawah tu chief of staff, you put a dotted line comms, right? Then another one, we call it BAU, business continuity, or ERT. And just below another line where the CMT between chief of staff and the CEO, another dotted line there, CFO, CPO, and head of legal.
CEO, CFO, and head of legal.
Yeah, head of legal to sometimes give legal advice. Hey, I think this situation we might be sued, or in the discussion, and then we all say, I think we should communicate and say this. Then they said, no, I don't think it's a good thing. You might be sued. Comms will always fight with legal. Legal will always curb the hard message. Comms, if a comms is nawai tu dia baik, you will try to put the message that is hard. But legal, if you put the message from the heart, you are admitting to fault, and therefore you might be sued. Comms, if anything happen, I always tell MD, if it's, if we're sorry for it, we say we're sorry for it. But legal say, no, you say sorry, then they know to blame you, and then they come after you, right? But legal gives a sense of balance, right? We have to assess the ground situation on if people are suffering. Then if you need to say sorry and go down and help, you say sorry and help. Don't try to hide behind the legal, right? So that is the challenge in the CMT. Yeah, that's another story.
Thank you.
All right. Any other question?
Tuan Syed, so to shorten the plan and team, I can combine CCP for 2 crises and use CMT for those 2 crises.
Yes, CMT will never change.
Okay.
CMT will never change. Right? Technically, what you can do, because you have more or less the input, the data already there, you just put crisis management team org chart structure. Right? Your topic, crisis management team org chart structure, 1. The other one, crisis management plan. And then you can break it down. What is a crisis management plan? What is the role of each of the CMT members? And under crisis management plan, subset, crisis communications plan. What does crisis communication plan do? Then, stakeholders. Stakeholders will be the affected victim. They are number 1. right? Affected victims and the government authorities, the emergency response team, employees of the organization.
So hari ni kita
Finally, hari ni kawan kita orang.
Tuan Syed,
Yeah,
after we have fixed our part in this slide, can I show you the
can.
new one?
Boleh. When do you need to submit this?
2
20.
weeks.
Okay.
Weeks later,
On the
but we
21st.
will do it as fast as we can.
Right.
Aryani and Adib, any other questions?
Aryani is in the toilet.
Okay.
I think I didn't have a question.
Okay. So are we going to ask the questions given that 9 question, or are you guys satisfied with the answer given by Tuan Syed?
Wow, got 9 more questions.
I already satisfied already.
Actually, we have another 9 questions.
Just four.
What are the
4 questions.
Never mind.
Just four.
Not 9, just 4.
4? Okay. Run by me. Is the questions in the slide?
No, it's another
outside.
question. I have given
Okay.
you the
What
question.
question?
So it's
1, 2, 3,
9
4.
questions.
No, 4. We want 4 only. Can.
Make it sit
6.
Which one?
Sebab Jasmine need to ask for report mechanism.
Oh yes, report mechanism.
But we will follow the flow of the questions. So one question is person or 2 question?
Your number 9, is it necessary to put a recovery mechanism for effective crisis management in CMT? What do you mean by recovery mechanism?
Anyway, I think that's a typo. It's supposed to be reporting mechanism.
Oh, reporting mechanism.
Yes.
Throughout the entire process of the CMT being held, you will have regular updates and reports. All right? So you got 20 more questions to go.
It's five question to go. Since Jasmine, I already asked the 9th question. So I will ask the 1 and 2nd question. Hanis will ask the 3rd. Adib the 4th one, and Aryani the 5th one. So for the first question is, how does your organization approach crisis communication strategy development before you creating something?
How is what? Sorry?
How does your organization approach crisis communication strategy development?
How does okay? Every organization will have to have a crisis management plan. The strategic development of the crisis management plan is a collective discussion between all the management functions. So it is not purely a communications function. A lot of people mistake it that, crisis comms is only the baby of corporate com. You need to get the buy-in. What is the crisis communication strategy for my company? You need to get the MD and the top management to agree. Yes, this is our crisis communication strategy because we already pre-identified it through the risk assessment. what I shared earlier on in terms of how you build that pathway, that is how you strategically develop a crisis comm plan, by identifying within the industry what are the things that will disrupt my business, that will destroy my business, that will disable my business to continue. Right? Identify the danger zones, identify the pain points. Then you can develop your crisis communications plan. And once the crisis communications plan is set, then you develop your crisis comm strategy. Right? Once I share with you all your question here, answered already.
Yes, you already answered the all those questions actually. But we and since we need it for the rubric mark, so we need to ask you again.
Okay. So you need to record my voice lah.
But you can just shorten the answer
Okay.
since you already shared.
Yeah.
Just for the rubric.
Okay. So then the next
So
question.
the second one, can you share insights into the key component of your crisis communication plan?
So the key component of a crisis communications plan is one, to establish the role players within the management team, and to identify in terms of they call it the level of danger, the level of risk. Right? Hang on. So what is the escalation? You need to have your escalation level. And after that, each component or role player, their actions in detail, what they're supposed to do. You need to list that down. Okay? What role? The third question, is it?
So for the third question is Hanis. Okay.
Okay, what role does the corporate communication team play in shaping and executing crisis response plans? That's the third question.
Okay. The crisis communication team plays a very integral, important role, right? They are the outward-facing external communicators for the company. So their inputs and their counsel ensures that the end messaging to key stakeholders are well thought of, and that the channels of communication has the right impact outcome. So that's why the communication function is, you cannot have it without lah, in any crisis management plan. If you don't have that, your crisis management plan will fail. Okay?
Okay, thank you. So for the fourth one is Adit. Please ask your
Okay, the first question is, how is your crisis communication team structured, and what are the key responsibilities of the team members?
Okay, as I shared earlier on, the crisis communication team will fall under the crisis management team. So there are three key players, one in terms of media, one in terms of digital social media, one in terms of community and CSR engagement, and there is also a dotted line to a HR component called internal communications. So that is how the crisis communications team is structured under the corporate comms department. Okay?
Okay, Tuan Syed, thank you. So the last question is from Aryani. Aryani, please ask your question.
Okay. Can you provide example of successful crisis communication initiative your team has implemented in the past?
Can. Too many. So the latest, the most memorable one is the incident in Plus when they roll out the RFID. The case study, I call it the RFID rollout blowout. When RFID was implemented on Plus Highway, it resulted in public backlash that the public demanded for the smart tag lanes that were replaced by RFID lanes to be reinstated. But after our social media discovery of the negativity was actually low instead of very, very high, we also realized what were the exact pain points of this low percentage of RFID detractors, right? Why they wanted smart tag back. So we came out with a communications campaign and we won them over in 6 to 7 months. So from tak nak RFID, reinstate back smart tag lane, the tone changed to, can you provide extra RFID lanes? And that was a success. And that went on to win numerous PR awards on a national level, on a regional level, as well as an international level. Okay?
Okay, thank you. Your team has achieved many awards for the crisis management. As an example, like 2023 PR Asia Awards for Best Crisis Management Strategy. And we very congratulate you for that.
Thank you.
So we are grateful to have very great person to share his insight about crisis communication plan and crisis management team. It is an honor for us to have a talk to you with this evening.
It's my honor and privilege too to have all you young, dynamic, future crisis com leaders to learn from me. I'm very happy to be able to share because at the end of the day, kalau kita ada, is ibadah to share knowledge. Right? That's what I believe strongly. Thank you so much. Shall we take a group photo before we go?
Yes, yes.
Someone please
I
snap
I
a
I
group
just
photo.
screenshot from laptop kan?
Boleh.
Okay. Wait